sanitation practices have made irresponsible waste disposal a deeply ingrained issue in Lagos, and this behavior could lead to a whole lot, which includes, constant flooding owing to blocked drains. Of course, like we always say, avoid, dumping your waste into the drainage system because they end up getting clogged. And what happens in the end when it rains, it results to flooding, which could breed, mosquitoes and other result to other waterborne diseases. We also have widespread diseases from unsanitary conditions, reduced effectiveness of recycling systems, and of course increased costs of cleanup and infrastructure damage. Hence the need for Loma surveillance and investigation team. That's the reason why Loma has come up with this arm called the surveillance and investigation team. The essence of this is just to bring to book or to challenge the poor waste management culture through active monitoring, in order to foster a better waste management culture, a better environment. All right, so we'll begin the conversation in a bit, but first I'd like us to, just take a message. We're going to break. We'll take a message from our partners, Loma. When we return, we shall begin the conversation. Stay here.
I need you. You need me. Together, we can make Lagos clean. Make sure you throw away your dirt properly, not inside canals to avoid flooding on our roads when it rains. Lagos Traffic Radio say keep Lagos clean, moving Lagos forward.
Stop it! Yes, you don't do it. Indiscriminate dumping of refuse into drainage channels is prohibited in Lagos State. It has to stop. Henceforth, it's zero tolerance for building or erecting structures on drainages, setbacks, and alignments in Lagos State. Government is doing its best to make our environment clean and safe. As responsible citizens, we too should play our part to sustain it. Dumping of refuse into drainages, canals, or gutters destroys our roads and drainage systems, causes flooding in some areas, and poses great dangers to lives and damage to our public structures. Desist from disposing refuse into drainage channels and canals. It's damaging to the image of Lagos State. Remember, there are laws and regulations guiding the disposal of waste in Lagos State. Offenders will be prosecuted according to the law. Do the right thing. Use refuse bins, not canals, gutters, or drains. Dispose waste responsibly. Protect our drainage system. Contribute to a safer environment for us all. Ibeda Ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó, Àjùmọ̀ṣe Office of Drainage Services.
If you asked me what a team of heroes look like, I would say people committed to creating a clean and beautiful state. After all, what's there to love about living in a dirty and harmful environment? That's why at Loma, we built an exceptional team with people like the fearless Binga who picks up waste from your house and streets, the swift Musa who navigates all waste to the landfills, Iya Dupe, the super cleaner who saves our roads from litters, and of course, our magical recycler Atinuke who converts waste to wealth. Everyone at Loma is committed to keeping Lagos clean in every way for a safer and healthier Lagos. Loma, a league of heroes. Keep Lagos clean.
Lagos, welcome back to the show. It's Clean and Edge here on Africa's first authentic traffic radio. So we're looking at the surveillance and investigation team which Loma has set up in a bid to, monitor waste management and curb the act of poor waste management culture. But before we begin the conversation, let's talk traffic. Let's look at what has gone on so far out there. Okay, so taking it back to the Ogudu Alakbere corridor, where we've been monitoring the situation. I understand traffic has backed up to motorways, and it's owing to a falling refuse. Okay, say waste plastics, packed waste plastics that fell on the road at Ogudu, just opposite Fish Farm, before the bus stop proper in Wodiyanawuru. Yes, occupying 70% of the road, of the access road in Wodiyanawuru. Well, the news is that Loma has been contacted for assistance. Traffic so far has backed up to motorways, but the travel advice for motorists coming from Chinatown is that as you get to Total Filling Station, you use the right turn into Adejobi at Joseph Street. You can use the link road to connect Ogudu. That's the end. That'll take you straight down to the end of Ogudu Road proper, which links you back to Lagos by the expressway, and you can find your way from there towards Yanwuru. Quite simple, but we have traffic managers on ground to guide you through that corridor as you ply that stretch of road. All right, all hands are on deck to have the impediment evacuated as quickly as possible. So from there, we'll take a detour to connect with the Ikoyi-Obalende corridor, where we are monitoring steady influx right from Simpson Bridge through Dolphin, connecting Osborne Foreshore down to Bayokuku, and the stretch of Golden Gate, NMPC Registry, all the way down to Akiadishola. Looks good as well. Falamo Inward Outlaw Road, the entire stretch down to Nikon Roundabout is equally an appreciable one. And traffic flow from Falamo through Bodilon Road, Alexander, a link bridge connecting the roundabout down to Gerard is equally an appreciable one. I've also recorded fine movement, this time from Obalende Bridge, with no impediment recorded along the way. All right, so we have this one that just popped in, talks about traffic movement along the Ekpe corridor, precisely. So it's quite a peaceful one in and around the Ekpe axis, taking up from Mojoda, connecting Itamaru all the way down to Ayetoro, and traffic movement also seems to be quite appreciable beyond Ayetoro through General Hospital to link the T junction all the way to K2. All right, so in and out, it's quite a favorable one, talking about the Ekpe corridor. All right, so back to the conversation. Like I said, we shall be looking at the, surveillance and investigation team, which Loma has set up in order to address the growing challenges of improper waste dumping, waste management in general. Okay, so now let's look at the essence of this and the responsibilities of this surveillance and investigation team. Now, the surveillance and investigation team was set up in order to monitor streets, neighborhoods, markets, and commercial areas for waste infractions. And they also have the responsibility of apprehending offenders caught dumping waste illegally. They take note, documentation of violations with pictorial evidences, videos, and eyewitness accounts. So they have the right to, capture you as you commit that waste management infraction. And they also get to collaborate with environmental courts, such as the mobile court, for immediate legal action. So as soon as you're caught, you shall be penalized. So just to let you know, this is the latest development. This is what we have on ground regarding. We've done a lot of sensitization, we've done a lot of education regarding, proper waste management. But Loma has come out to say, okay, let's try enforcement this time. Maybe we'll be able to, tenements would, consider doing the right thing as it regards waste management, sustainable waste management. And this is a zero tolerance initiative. So having in mind that if you're caught violating Lagos State's waste laws, you shall be held accountable regardless of intention or ignorance. Okay, so let's get some waste offenses that could lead to prosecution. Just in case you're wondering, okay, what are things I can do or I have done that has led to me being prosecuted or caught by these surveillance and investigation team set up by LOMA, which is the Lagos Waste Management Authority. Now, there are certain acts that are considered waste infractions under the Lagos Waste Law and can result in the arrest, prosecution, or could lead to fines, you paying fines, or even community service. And some of these infractions are dumping waste on streets and drains or on unauthorized locations. Of course, yes, we still have this being very rampant in Lagos. You see waste being dumped on unauthorized locations, even on the streets or even the drains as well. We have people still engaging in such dastardly act, and that's a major offense, and you shall get caught and prosecuted. Patronizing cat pushers or unlicensed waste collectors is an offense now. Like we've been preaching, cat pushers are not licensed to evacuate waste. We have the PSP operators, and they have been licensed. They are the formal waste collectors. That's the duty, to come evacuate your waste. And you must keep them in the business by paying your waste bills promptly. Now, when you leave your waste unbagged or improperly containerized, it's an offense. So you could get caught for doing this and prosecuted as well. Have that in mind. Now, when you allow refuse to block the drainage right in front of your property or your dwelling, it is an offense. Have that in mind. It is now an offense. If you didn't see it as an offense in the first place, but have it in mind now that you could get caught and prosecuted when you allow refuse to block the drainage right in front of your property. Open burning of waste materials is also an offense now. So if you're caught doing that, you will be prosecuted. Littering with single-use plastics or banned materials, such as styrofoam, could also lead you to, paying fines or community service if you are caught, engaging in such acts. So being unaware of these rules is not a defense. Have that in mind. Residents, which include you and I, and even business operators are expected to comply. So let's get some penalties for waste infractions. So if eventually you're caught by the surveillance team, have in mind that first off, you'd have to be charged to the mobile court and prosecuted. So we have the mobile and special offense court. Okay, you'll be charged and prosecuted, and whatever fine, you may be asked to pay a fine or community service. We have monetary fines, which are imposed based on the nature of and severity of the violation. So repeat offenders may incur higher penalties. Have that in mind. We also have 3 to 6 months imprisonment. Yes, could go to jail, go to prison for waste infractions, waste management infractions. Have that in mind too, and that depends on the enormity of the crime the environmental offender has committed, and the judge can sentence you, if you're convicted, to either 3 to 6 months imprisonment. We also have mandatory community service. So convicted individuals may be sentenced to community sanitation tasks such as street sweeping, drainage clearance, or cleaning public facilities. And these measures are not only corrective, they are intended to serve as deterrent to others. So what are the best ways? You might be asking, okay, so how do I stay off these legal troubles? Well, first off is for you to ensure that you are not apprehended. You must strictly follow the Lagos State waste regulations. Of course, there are laws guiding our activities, especially when it has to do with waste management. So first off, you must make sure that you use only LOMA accredited waste collectors, which are the PSP, the private sector participant waste operators. And avoid using the informal or unauthorized collectors such as the cart pushers. 2, we've been preaching about waste segregation. Yes, I would advise you start to practice this if you haven't been engaging in this. Proper waste separation is mandatory. We have the recyclables, which includes your plastics, your cans, and your bottles. We also have the organic waste, which includes the food leftovers. Make sure you bag them in separate containers. Hazardous waste such as batteries, electronics, and chemicals should be bagged in separate containers as well. And the general non-recyclable waste as well should be bagged in separate containers. And have in mind that mixed waste may attract penalties, especially if it contains dangerous materials. So, proper waste containerization, part of what we preach on this program every weekend. All waste must be placed in sealed, covered bins. Yes, sealed and covered bins. Loose or unbagged waste placed by roadside or in drains is illegal. So you can be penalized for doing that. All right, so maintain clean frontage or drainage. A lot of us are very nonchalant when it comes to this practice. Now, all property owners and tenants are responsible for keeping their frontages and drainage areas clean and obstruction-free. You should have this in mind as well. All right, Lagos. So we have more, but then we're going to go on a break. We'll take another message from our partners, Loma. When we return, we shall be rounding things up with some more tips. Stay here with us.
If you asked me what a team of heroes look like, I would say people committed to creating a clean and beautiful state. After all, what's there to love about living in a dirty and harmful environment? That's why at Loma, we built an exceptional team with people like the fearless Binga who picks up waste from your house and streets, the swift Musa who navigates all waste to the landfills, Yadupe, the super cleaner who saves our roads from litters. And of course, our magical recycler, Atinuke, who converts waste to wealth. Everyone at Loma is committed to keeping Lagos clean in every way for a safer and healthier Lagos. Loma, a league of heroes. Keep Lagos clean.
Stop it! Yes, you don't do it. Indiscriminate dumping of refuse into drainage channels is prohibited in Lagos State. It has to stop. Henceforth, it's zero tolerance for building or erecting structures on drainages, setbacks, and alignments in Lagos State. Government is doing its best to make our environment clean and safe. As responsible citizens, we too should play our part to sustain it. Dumping of refuse into drainages, canals, or gutters destroys our roads and drainage systems, causes flooding in some areas, and poses great dangers to lives and damage to our public structures. Desist from disposing refuse into drainage channels and canals. It's damaging to the image of Lagos State. Remember, there are laws and regulations guiding the disposal of waste in Lagos State. Offenders will be prosecuted according to the law. Do the right thing. Use refuse bins, not canals, gutters, or drains. Dispose waste responsibly. Protect our drainage system. Contribute to a safer environment for us all. Ìgbéga ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó, Àjùmọ̀ṣe ni o, Office of Drainage Services, Announcer.
So Lagos, we're back on the block. Yes, ready to roll with you as usual. But we're talking environmental sanitation and sustainable, environmental practices. Let's talk traffic briefly. So I have news covering the Ejigbo axis. That's where we have recorded a slow movement along Ijegun Road and Jakande Gate owing to alternation at Jakande Gate. And of course, our motorists will also have to put into consideration some filled portion of the road. We have also recorded slow movement from Paku Ukiafa towards Jakande, but we're monitoring better movement from NMPC intersection through Iyanu Ejigbo, Power Line, Sele, Ilewe, Synagogue, all the way down to Cotton Roundabout, connecting Old Garage. Okay, so some slight delay has been observed from Ikoto intersection towards Ojodo, and this is occasioned by activities of the yellow commercial buses. But traffic, very much okay, right from Synagogue down to NMPC intersection to link Mobostic in and out of Kenu. But officers very much on ground during the next. Well, let's not forget, we've got our eyes on ground, the impediment, the falling plastic waste at Ogudu in Wadi Anwar, occupying 70% of the road, just like Fish Farm, which has backed up traffic to motorways. We'll have the alternatives from just after Chinatown, the Total petrol station there. You turn to your right and use the Adejobi Ajose Street link road to connect. That's at the end, the tail end of Ogudu Road, which links you back to the Lagos-Bada Expressway in Wadi Anwar. But officers are on ground; they'll guide you through that corridor as you embark on that journey to your destination. All right, so we'll be looking at the surveillance and monitoring team which Loma has set up, and we've talked about waste infractions and their responsibilities, and we've made you understand. Let's just do a quick recap. We've also made you understand that you could get prosecuted for committing some waste infractions, which I understand you may not be aware of, because there's a Lagos State law regarding waste management. Dumping waste on the streets, doing drains or unauthorized locations could land you, some community service, or you pay some fines if you are caught engaging in this act. Patronizing cat pushers is an offense now. Leaving waste unbagged or improperly containerized is also an offense. Allowing refuse to block the drainage system right in front of your property is an offense. Open burning of waste materials is also an offense now. You could get caught. And of course, littering with single-use plastics or banned material, especially if you have parties or get-togethers using banned materials could land you in, trouble. Okay, so we also got to talk about, legal troubles and how to avoid legal troubles. So Loma has come out to advise that, it's best for you to patronize the cat pushers, that's the Loma accredited waste collectors, or better still, segregate your waste, this is something we talk about on the show every edition. The waste segregation, you segregate the recyclables from the organic waste and the hazardous waste as well. Proper waste containers, you're using the approved waste bin, yes, and of course maintaining a clean frontage and drainage. Now, Loma has come out to also say, please do all that you can to avoid the use of styrofoam and single-use plastics. The use and careless disposal of single-use plastics has been banned, and offenders may face fines and prosecutions. So you can also help this surveillance surveillance team by reporting violators. Yes, and that's part of ways that which we could, engage in community service. All right, so this is how we're going to be wrapping things up. Of course, next week we'll talk further about these monitoring and surveillance team Loma has set up. But let's begin to wrap things up. Let's not forget, you can always connect with Loma via the following platforms: on Facebook at loma.gov, on Instagram, loma_gov. You can as well send an email to info@loma.gov.ng or connect with Loma via WhatsApp. That's 0708 060 1020, 0708 060 1020. So I must say a very big thank you to Mrs. Folashade Kadri, Director of Public Affairs for Loma. And of course, to my executive producer, Tayo Akonle. Clean and Edge will come your way again next week, Saturday, at exactly 9:15. And let's not forget to connect with Ojushe Loma on Wednesday at 3 p.m. All right, to have yourself a wonderful weekend and a fabulous week ahead. My name is Mike James.